Before we get started, there's one more thing I need to get out of the way. I got a few requests in the comments of the last video to show Maria and Ellis's growth rates, because they're the last two of the 4 endgame clerics that I never really got around to fully showing their stats, simply because, unlike Lena and Nina, neither of them actually get a prominent role in the bonus chapters, so I didn't really feel much need to actually show their growths, because let's face it, they're just not going to get much chance to use them in the final chapter anyway. But for the sake of completeness, I might as well make full stat sheets for them. So, let's get started then. So, Maria. Maria is the younger sister of Minerva and Michalis' family, and according to the boss of BS Fire Emblem Chapter 2, she has a knack for getting kidnapped. She has been in all of her appearances, and yes, she's had to be rescued in every one of the games where you can recruit her. Apparently Est has a greater history of getting captured than Maria does. Of course, Est got captured in her appearance in Gaiden, so yeah. But this isn't about Est, this is about Maria. And Maria, well, her growths are kinda lopsided, to say the least. She has ridiculously high luck, but the rest of them are average to incredibly terrible, as in her defense and HP growths. So she's not going to be taking many hits. Now, the thing is, for the endgame clerics, the growths really don't matter that much, because, let's face it, there's really very little chance they're going to be leveling up much anyway. They're mostly useful for healing utility, and they've actually improved quite a bit since the original Mystery of the Emblem, because, I probably already said this when I explained all the clerics before, but basically I'll say it again. Back in the original Mystery of the Emblem, not all of them came with staves. In this one, they all do, so at least they can all be put to use healing immediately. Maria has a physics staff. Unfortunately, her rank means she can't really use anything better, but, fortunately, that's pretty much the only thing she'll ever need in the chapter. So you can just, you know, have her physic people, that's really all. It's in your best interest to complete that final chapter as soon as possible, otherwise you're going to get swarmed by Earth Dragons, so yeah, they're probably not going to get much of a chance to heal even, but still. As for combat, well, if you're using Maria in combat, you're clearly doing something wrong, because all the enemies are superpowered dragons. Even in normal mode, they have stats over 20. And if you just look at her starting stats, and the fact that she can only use fire tomes, which is the one she comes with, yeah, don't use her in combat, seriously. Right, next up. Whoa! You see, it's growths like that that make me wish Ellis was playable earlier. Seriously, those are some of the best growths on a healer in the entire game. Although her resistance growth is uncharacteristically low, I'm not really sure why. I mean, that is very, very low by Bishop standards. Her HP, though, is freakishly high by Bishop standards, so kinda balances out. Anyway, she's got great growths, but really, she doesn't have much opportunity to actually use them. And not only that, she's only got 15 levels to make use of them, so her average stats at level 20 actually aren't that great anyway. Of course, that is assuming she gets to level 20, and seriously, trust me, that's not gonna happen. That is not gonna happen, so just don't count on it. But fortunately, Ellis comes with a physics staff, and she has an A rank in staffs, meaning she can use anything you give her. This also means she can use the Again staff, which can be quite helpful for low turn strategies in the final chapter. And seriously, the final chapter is probably the one chapter in the whole game where I actually would recommend completing it as quickly as possible, just because you're going to run into serious trouble if you don't. So for that, Again staffs are useful, and at least Ellis can use them. Nina can use them too. Nina also has an A in staves, so, in the final chapter, so that kinda helps. They've both got Fortify staves, so they can be put to use healing your entire army. And that's pretty much all I need to say about Ellis, except for the fact that she probably suffers from possibly the worst, availability out of every single playable character in the entire series. You see, back in Shadow Dragon, she joined as a cleric, one chapter before the final chapter. she had decent growth there, but it wasn't like she was going to get much use out of them. At least there she had Almstaff utility. Of course, in the remake, any princess was given the ability to use that. But of course, actually that means Maria could have used it back then, which kind of makes Ellis pretty pointless in that game. I only just realised that. But anyway, in this game, she can still use the Almstaff, but given that you have a princess staff wielder who joins much earlier, I am talking about Yumina, by the way. Yeah, Ellis probably won't be actually using it that much. Again, and the problem with the Almstaff is that it kind of requires you to play badly for it to be useful. It's only useful if you've let someone die, and back in Shadow Dragon, it couldn't be used on the sacrifice. A lot of people took this as proof that the sacrifice, the mandatory sacrifice in the prologue, actually didn't die. This later turned out to be true, so, if this was intentional, it was quite clever of the developers. It probably wasn't, but anyway. And that's pretty much all I have to say about Ellis, really. Yeah, so, great growths, but she's not going to have a chance to use them, but at least she has healing utility. Right, let's get back to New Mystery of the Emblem, and I think I'd better explain this while we're still on the black screen. After completing the 3 BS Fire Emblem chapters, what is there left to do in this game? Well, the remake added 3 chapters, which can only be accessed by downloading them. They're not like Awakening's DLC, in that 1, they don't cost money, 2, you can't use your main story party in them, so you don't actually gain experience or actual items out of them. They're really just for fun and for extra plot. 3, yeah, I guess they're kind of like more trial maps than anything else, but unlike the BS Fire Emblem chapters, you're not actually ranked on these ones, so the only reason to play them is really for fun and plot, basically. They've got a few other differences too that I'll explain when we get into them, but essentially they explain the backstories and give a bit of detail on certain characters who you didn't really have much information on them in the original game, all the while providing some kind of, fun challenges. Now, these downloadable maps were distributed kind of the same time as the downloadable items. Essentially, after the game was released, every few weeks there'd be a new map distributed. The thing is, it's not really like Awakenings where you have to download each Spot Pass or DLC map separately. In this one, they're essentially all added to one continuous bundle. And basically, if you log on to the online Wi-Fi servers at any time after the last one was distributed, you'll download them all in one go. Also note that it's impossible to actually miss any of these. They'll be available for as long as Nintendo doesn't shut down their DS Wi-Fi servers, which they actually probably will one day, so you might want to get these while they're still available. If you've got the original game, all you need to do is just connect to the internet and select download, and you'll just get all these maps right away. Of course, if you're using the fan translation, you probably don't have the original copy of the game. In that case, there's no real way to get these, were it not for one thing. You see, the Heroes of Shadow, the people who did the translation patch, have kindly provided a save file on their main website that has all the downloadable content bonuses already unlocked. All you need to do is go to the main homepage of the translation team, go to the download section, and find the save file. Now, applying the save file can be a bit tricky, but they have an extensive README and FAQ for doing that. I myself, I'll confess, I actually said this earlier in the playthrough, but you've probably all forgotten it by now, I actually didn't use this save file. I used a different save file that not only had all the downloadable content bonuses unlocked, but also the extra bonuses for beating Lunatic mode, including the new, I was about to say Lunatic Plus, no, Lunatic Reverse difficulty, which I might actually show off if I get the chance. There was just no way I was beating Lunatic just to get those bonuses. Seriously, I'm just not going to do that. So anyway, I have those unlocked, so I'll see you on the menu. So back here, and you'll see I've got shiny gold numbers next to all the BS Fire Emblem episodes. Shame my score for the beginning was considerably lower than the others. But anyway, if you go here to bonus content, and you can go to the DLC episodes. Here we'll select the first one, Wind and Thunder. This was one of the first that was revealed, actually. It was revealed shortly after the game itself was revealed, and we knew from the start it would be focusing on, well, we'll see. So, our setting here is Cardane, the City of Magic. Yeah, we know in Shadow Dragon it was once taken over by Garneth, resulting in a very annoying chapter where you had to fight a whole bunch of mages. And Garneth himself, who was invincible. Good thing he ran away on a certain turn. But anyway, now that we've actually cleared out this area, it's time for this School of Witchcraft and Wizardry to actually open for business again. Unfortunately, it's still kind of crawling with Garneth's previous goons, so... Action here switches to Merrick and Elrond, aka Vampire and Darko. Yes, we're having those bad fanfiction characters. No, I mean, yeah, let's just forget that for the time being. So, anyway, supposedly Garneth died in the previous war. Ha ha ha, yeah, you'd like to think that. But, unfortunately, we have Garneth's subordinates still here. And, of course, now, yeah, if you, have seen Linda's support conversations in this game, I'm pretty sure they bring them up, you'll know that Garneth killed Linda's father, so she has she kinda has a bit of a thing with him. A lot of people like to have her be the one who kills Garneth in Shadow Dragon, and I totally understand that. A lot of Let's Plays I've seen do that. Of course, Merrick is equally good at doing it, so either one of them could have done it. And as for Elrond, well, this is his chronologically first appearance. We also have Etzel here. And he's kind of having worries about us having an all-mage party here, which is understandable, were it not for the fact that Elrond is a giant freaking tank and is amazing. Damn it, Etzel, sorry, I keep confusing their names. I don't know why I confuse their names. I will try to avoid doing it, but if I do, yeah, I'm gonna whack myself. So, right then, another familiar theme from Shadow Dragon, and let's begin. So we have Merrick here. He's got Excalibur and a Pure Water, which is interesting. I'll talk about that later, really. We also have Elrond, who still has the Eris Shard. So, hey, we can finally use the shards again, and this is actually the only time we'll get to use the shards in these chapters, but anyway. We also have Linda, who starts a little on the weak side, but she makes up for it with Aura. And Etzel, who starts quite a bit on the strong side. But he's your only healer for this chapter, so you want to keep him alive. You'll also notice droppable chest keys. Yes, we know what that means. We don't get any thieves for this chapter, so we're going to have to use chest keys to open all the chests. We also have bandits and dragons. Yes, this is actually the first time we'll be seeing dragons since the main story, and in fact the last time we'll be seeing them at all. So yeah, this map has fire dragons, and also one other type of dragon. Oh boy, I am looking forward to that. Yeah, we'll see that in a bit. So we've got a bunch of Myrmidons and a Heretic Bishop boss who has a Volcano tome. Now yeah, the funny thing is here, Merrick's Pure Water. Yeah, that boss is the only enemy on the whole map who uses magic, which means you want to save that thing for the boss, because it's actually useless otherwise. Now, these guys actually have considerably higher speed than most of your guys. Doubling them is hard, and if you're not careful, you're going to get doubled yourself. So, yeah, don't make the mistake I made in one of my practice runs a long time ago and put Linda in range of that axeman right there. Don't do it, seriously. Because she will get doubled and die. She can barely survive one hit from those guys at this point, but she is very good if you get her a few level ups. Now, the other interesting thing about the downloadable chapters is that the first time every character on your side engages in combat, they'll say a little quote. Well, or not say anything, as is the case with Merrick. Almost as if they were bosses. Essentially, to all intents and purposes, this acts as if your characters were bosses, actually. And here you'll see why, using Linda to attack this guy is a problem. You'll also see that Linda is now thinking she's Ike. Speaking of Ike, I believe the Spot Pass chapter that lets you recruit Priam in Fire Emblem Awakening is now available, at least to North American players. So, if anyone wants to check out, Ike's legacy, go download that chapter. Just stay away from the screaming fangirls who want him to die. Anyway, we have a dragon here, that's a problem. Elrond has the slightly better defense out of the two starting mages, so he's going to lure this guy. You know, it would be funny if Elrond got a critical here, but he's probably not going to get one. I mean, even funnier if that Fire Dragon got a critical there, because Elrond, in my main playthrough... Fortunately, he didn't live up to that name, when I actually... did this chapter, but in the main story, he kind of gave the, title of Gets Critical by Dragons. Because, well, speaking of criticals, we'll now get to see the Sorcerer's extremely underwhelming critical animation. Yeah, that got voted worst DS game critical animation in the series on Serenades Forest, and I can kind of see why. I'm gonna hold my hand above my head slightly longer than usual. At least it's better than the Mage Knight crit animation in Fire Emblem 4, which apparently consists of them just standing still for a few seconds and then attacking. Anyway, we now have a couple of new characters. And we can finally see this conversation. Yeah, when I first did a recording test of this one, I chose this chapter and this was still all in Japanese, so you probably didn't fully understand this, but basically, Fina is now explaining, Barbarian tried to kidnap her, again, and Mishala saved her. You know what's kind of ironic? I have a feeling that there's no real other reason for Mishalis to be included in this chapter, or Fina exactly, because I mean, I have no idea how Fina would have got up here. But anyway, I have a feeling there's actually a reason for Mishalis being included here with Fina, and it's something kind of funny that only people who played the original Dark Dragon and the Sword of Light will actually get. So anyway, well, it seems as though, Mishalis considers, his relationship with his sister is probably the one thing that's keeping him from being outright evil. She's sort of the, to quote TV tropes, morality pet to him of sorts. And he's gone again. So anyway, we have these two. But for the time being, we should probably focus more on the imminent danger we're in. But anyway, Fina, I believe, comes with the exact same stats as she did in the main story. In fact, I think everyone in this chapter does. Especially Mishalis. Yeah, here's where things get kind of ridiculous. Mishalis has the exact same stats here that he did when he joined around the time of the final chapter in the main story. Yeah, this means that he's completely and utterly, ridiculously, stupidly, I don't even need to say it, completely broken in every single imaginable way. I'm just having Fina dance for him here because, Let me just put it this way, Mishalis is so broken, he can take on dragons with a javelin. And given how badly nerfed javelins are in this game, that's roughly the equivalent of taking on dragons with your bare hands. Yeah, Mishalis in this map may well be the single most broken character in any Fire Emblem chapter in the series, simply because his stats are just so beyond anything else on this map. No enemy even poses even a mild threat to him at all. And just cutting myself off here a bit, you want to make sure that Linda gets as many level ups as she possibly can, because her growths are really good. Unless otherwise specified, which will be never, everyone here has the exact same growths as they do in the main story. So, you want to make sure Linda gets some good level ups, because, yeah, she's got some pretty good growths and it'll help her, you know, not be doubled. Because, it's not going to be good to ever get doubled. Now, Elrond. I already went over this when I covered this chapter for my test commentary of this game, but I'll say it again. Elrond is your main tank for this map, weirdly enough. You'll see how I got him to tank those Myrmidons before. That's because they will double literally every other character you have. They'll also double him sometimes, so you've got to watch out for that, but he's got surprisingly high defense by mage standards. In fact, he may have been the main inspiration for... Wow, nice dodge there. He may have been the main inspiration for how Dark Mages in Awakening have such high defense. Really high defense in some cases. And now here you'll see Mishalis' battle quote. Now, funny story with this one. Back when I first got this game, I tried to translate a few of these battle quotes myself, just to, you know, give people an idea of what the people were saying. And because they were all short, you know, they're all one-liners basically, so they were pretty easy to translate. Yeah, the problem here was that I kind of had to rely on Google Translate a little bit for this because I hadn't discovered better dictionaries at the time. And Google Translate translated that first word that Mishalis speaks in his conversation as, let's just say, something else. Another phrase, if you will, beginning with F. Yeah, Google Translate can be a little extreme sometimes. I think they've actually improved it since then. It has a lot less random swearing than it used to, but, yeah. Right then, we want to heal Elrond. Yeah, the other thing about Etzel is he's your only healer for this map. You actually have no shortage of healing items, though. So it's not like he's really the be-all and end-all when it comes to healing in this chapter. Now, I was a little hesitant here to move these two this way because something nasty this way comes, let's just say, in a few turns. And I did not want them to be in range when they came. I also wanted these particularly nasty things to be lured towards Merrick, if at all possible. Why? Oh, you'll see. Now remember, make sure to get Fina as many dances as you possibly can. Annoyingly, there's no experience rank for this chapter. If there was, I'd recommend dancing with her every turn just to fill that out. Now, yeah, Mishalis is so broken, he completely destroys things even with a javelin. As such, I don't really want to rely on him too much, because, let's face it, he's incredibly cheap in this map. So yeah, after the initial rush, I'm not really going to use him all that much, because, yeah, he's, completely cheap. Reinforcements, ah! Uh-oh, yep, they're back, they are back! My worst nightmare has returned. Say hello to the Wyvern triplets. They're back! Ancient scrolls told of their return. And when the truth dawns, it dawns in massive movement ranges. But there is one they fear. In their tongue, it is... I really don't know how to speak Wyvern. Let's just say, translation, Excalibur. Otherwise known as Merrick in this map. So, we want to lure them to him if at all possible, which is kind of easier said than done, given that they have ridiculously massive movement ranges. That's the main reason why I hate these things. Yeah, in case anyone hasn't realized by now, I really hate Wyverns. Not the nice kind, not the ones that are ridden by characters. I really like Wyvern riding classes. But the ones that... the wild ones. The ones that can breathe fire. Ugh! Now I was just doing a little bit of calculations here. With that one extra point of speed Linda gained, she's not going to get doubled by this guy. And with his... okay, with that steel axe, I believe he has exactly... okay, yeah, with that steel axe, I did it that too fast. He's got exactly, I believe, 21 attack power, and Linda has 2 defense, so he won't one-shot her, which is good. Speaking of one-shot though, we really want Mishalis to go and clear out these enemies up here, otherwise Fina's going to be on the receiving end of a one-shot. Yeah, let's just use the silver, here. Yeah, that wouldn't have hurt him anyway. Yeah, I believe hand axes are similarly nerfed to javelins. They have, you know, similarly pretty pathetic might in this game. And hey, Mishalis got a vulnerary. As if that's gonna be, he's gonna need that. Because, well, look at that. 20 defense, seriously? Wait a minute, you have weapon triangle disadvantage and you do less damage than the axe that had weapon triangle advantage? Seriously? I mean, more damage, you do 1 damage and that guy did nothing? Yeah, I called that. Oh, wow, nice one. No, if that had been a crit, that would have been awesome. Unfortunately, not a one-hit kill. But it's pretty close. So, if she gains a few more points of magic, then she'll be well on her way to doing that. If she gains enough points of speed to double with Aura, that is when everything in a 5-mile radius starts dying. I don't actually use the Imperial system, so if that's incredibly small, then I don't really know. So correct me if I use that completely the wrong way. Because, yeah. Now, thing was, I was at this point planning on leaving those two for Eric and the others because I don't want Mishalis to steal all the experience. That dragon there, I would like to have Mishalis deal with him now, simply because, yeah, our mage is going to be busy with another type of dragon. I hate those things. Anyway, I like to use... Take that back, I don't like to use Linda's Thunder Tome because its RNG hates me! Well, what I was gonna say was, I like to use Linda's Thunder Tome when I want to save on order uses. You know, when a regular Thunder is enough to kill, then I want to use that. Unfortunately, its RNG appears to hate me right now. 88% missing, seriously. And this is in a game with, I think this game uses the 2RN system. Okay, he can fly all the way near that chest, and he's got a chest here, so that'll help, but I kind of want to get rid of that dragon first. Yeah. Because if I move Etzel and Elrond into the... Hey, I got their names right that time. If I move the two of them up here, and I'm gonna equip the Javelin on him just to show off. Because, yeah, he can kill dragons with Javelins, and that's really saying something, given the Javelins are essentially made of rubber in this game. I can kind of forgive them for in Awakening because at least strength stats are generally higher in that game, and higher might long-range lances are at least more plentiful in that one, and yep, see, Mishalis essentially takes on dragons with his bare hands, pretty much. I mean, Javelins may as well be bare hands in this game. Wow! Yeah, my calculations were pretty spot on, and it's a good thing too, because one more damage and she would have been gone. Wow, see, yeah, Linda gets really good if you get her a few level ups. I mean, if you somehow manage to get her to the same level as all the other mages, then she'll be ridiculous. Uh-oh, here they come. Right, now, yeah, I've got all ranges locked in at this point, just because I'm really terrified of those Wyvern ranges. Fortunately, their speed is actually not that high by Wyvern standards, so they're not really going to double you that much. Just tell that to the Lunatic Mode Wyverns. Oh boy. Anyway, what I want to do is I want to put Merrick up on the edge of their range. That hopefully means he'll only get attacked by one of them. Yeah, it's a good thing that these guys don't have 1 to 2 range like they would in Lunatic Mode. Yeah, since there are no difficulty levels to these maps, then dragons will always use their default normal mode breath. And giving the boots to be Linda, because I gave them to Merrick in my last attempt at this chapter, and I just want to be different this time. Moving Mishalis over here in case worse comes to worse and I need him. I very well might, actually. Also, he can go talk to Merrick. So, I'm surprised Mishalis actually knows about this guy. Then again, Mishalis is a flying class, so he would have been weak to wind magic back then, if he wasn't carrying Ioti's shield. Yeah, Ioti's shield really was just to stop Mishalis being a complete and total pushover. Anyway, of course, Mishalis is refusing to fight together. Hey, maybe you and Elrond could get along. You're both angsty and don't like relying on others. But, anyway, he's still gonna join us anyway. That's interesting. Right then. Good thing these two are out of range of the Wyverns. Otherwise we could have problems. Gotta watch out for that Myrmidon now. Actually, there's something here I've got to probably talk about later, because it's Wyvern time! And fortunately, Merrick delivers spectacular overkill to them. Take that, Wyvern, you deserve it. Die, 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 die! And never come back. And good thing they still give as much ridiculous experience as they used to. Unfortunately, Merrick is going to need to gain 4 points of speed before he can double them. But, I mean, as much as I would love to see him double them, just because I just would love to humiliate these things, an Excalibur crit right now would be really good. Please, Excalibur crit, come on. Yeah, Excalibur crit, come on. You know you want to. Come on. You know you want to. Come on, crit. Come on. Oh, damn it. And I have to get rid of this next Wyvern, otherwise Merrick is going to be dead. So, no crits. I really wanted to get my revenge on those guys. Seriously, they deserve that. Then again, Ryan already did with his Parthia crit in the final chapter. Oh boy. Yeah, Etzel may be bulky, but he's not going to be able to take all of those guys at once, is he? And Elrond is certainly not going to be able to take all those guys at once, but he can one-shot this guy. One-shot him 3 times over, actually. Nice crit when you didn't need it. Why is it that you're always critical when you don't need it? Happens in Pokemon too. Actually happens even more in Pokemon, actually. You always get that critical right on the turn where you would have KO'd them anyway. Just gotta be careful of Etzel there. Make sure not too many things can attack him. Now, I need to talk more about that, but first, let's get rid of this Wyvern. If only Linda could actually one-shot that thing. Now, of course, Mishalis is gonna double it, and he's gonna completely destroy it, so... as much as I'd like Linda to get the kill on this thing, then... Oh, and that thing would one-shot her anyway, so... Yikes. Anyway... Yeah, I can just aura it just because I want to experience as much pain as possible. Yeah, I'm so glad that's not a Lunatic Mode one, because that would have hit her with his long-range breath. Okay... Hello, Wyvern, time to die. And with that, I can breathe a sigh of relief. No more Wyverns ever. Those are the last in the entire game, provided I don't fail this chapter and have to do it again. But anyway, no more Wyverns ever. And uh-oh, this could be a problem. This could cause too much critical killing you actually, so that might not be good. Okay, if Elrond crits this guy, then the next guy might be able to kill him, so good thing he didn't. Yeah, sometimes it's actually really annoying when you crit things and you didn't. Unfortunately, there are quite a few enemies heading towards them. Now I can finally talk about that thing I was going to back then, now that the Wyverns are out of the way. Oh, I hate them so much. Now here's, something interesting that I was going to point out. You might notice the terrain here. You probably won't notice this, but the terrain here is actually desert terrain. And the reason you won't notice that is because Fina is the only one in your entire army who is not flying or a mage. In other words, she's the only one who's actually affected by desert like anyone else would be. So really, unless you actually bother to check the terrain listing on the top screen, you probably won't know that there actually is desert terrain in this map because, again, most of your units can move freely through it. However, the same is not true for the enemies, and this is where you can actually use things to your advantage. I'm gonna have to use Fina to pull Linda out of here after I do this, otherwise that axe is gonna kill her. Anyway, you can actually use this to your advantage because the enemy axemen and swordsmen will actually get slowed down by desert, which means if you start retreating over the desert, you've got your full movement range to run and they're gonna get stuck in the desert, so it can actually be quite useful to try and bulk them down like that. I could try and block off this area with the Charlas, but actually wait, one dance will get Fina leveled up! But I didn't really mean that. Fina's still got a great growth rate, but anyway, one dance will get Mishalis down here to block off this area. Now, you know what? I really should have unequipped him if I wanted to go by my thing of not really using him. Then again, I'll just equip his javelin, so yeah. Right then, I think it is time for us to... Whoa, boy, that's bad. Yeah, I can't get rid of... Yeah, if I leave one of those alive, he's going to kill Etzel, and I don't want that. So, we're going to have to retreat. I believe in, my first test attempt of this, I actually lost Etzel. That wasn't a serious attempt, really. And the thing is, it seems as though characters don't actually die in these chapters. They just sort of retreat, and they still show up in the ending cutscene regardless. You can actually lose Elrond here, and he'll still show up in the ending cutscene just fine. Of course, you know, I don't want to, because even though there's no survival rank here, I'm kind of going for full survival, because I always do. He's got 2 chest keys, I want to make use of those, but anyway, let's just hope that desert's going to slow them down enough. And let's just hope they don't all pile in on the Charlas. So anyway, we should be safe for the time being, so I guess I can mention that with Wyverns out of the way, oh well, one of them can attack him. Let's just hope the other guy can't. Oh, nice dodge, and nice crit. Hey, it looks like Elrond's actually trying to make up for his poor performance in the main story here. You know what, I wonder if reclassing him to Dark Mage was not a good idea. Dark Mages just aren't really all that great in this game, really. I mean, they have slightly better defense, but Elrond's already got slightly better defense than most mages anyway. Oh, he's not leveling up, he's not leveling up. Well, I actually might make an exception for my whole not using the Charlas rule here, because I'd like to see this guy level up, seriously. Apart from luck, he's got some pretty good growth rates. Let's just see them in action. And well, I'm gonna have to chuck something. Chuck one of these Volvan arrows. Do not chuck your chest keys, because if you do that, then you're gonna lose out on one of those chests permanently. And if you look at that, Mishalis has maxed speed. Yeah, probably the only character I've ever seen in one of these bonus maps who's actually maxed something. To be fair, he actually starts 1 point off it. But from now on, Michalis is going to be my chest-getting guy. Shame I'm not actually getting these until long after they'll be any use. So anyway, this chest here contains a lady sword. Fina is the only one on your team who can use that, so you want to give it to her as soon as possible. Then again, she's not really strong enough, and she probably won't ever be strong enough in this chapter to need to be in combat. So you probably don't want to let her use it anyway, so it's not really all that useful. Right, here I'll trade this chest here over to Elrond so he can reach this chest for an elixir. I'd recommend giving this one to Elrond, simply because he's the healer and healers can't heal themselves. So he kind of needs that. Now here you get a shaver. I would recommend giving this one to anyone who isn't Merrick, because he's already got something better than Shaver. So basically, the Shaver spell is effective against flying units, which means if the Wyverns aren't here yet, you actually might want to grab that and give it to like Linda or Elwyn or someone like that. It'll help them make short work of the Wyverns. As a bonus, it's got a great critical rate too. That's a pretty nice spell to have. Right then, no more chests for this turn. And yeah, give Elrond that elixir, because... Etzel! I did it again! Why do I keep doing that? Stupid mages' names both starting with E. Etzel. Okay, gotta drill that into my head. I never use him in my regular playthrough, so that's probably why I have trouble with this guy's name. Anyway, let's give another chest key, and have Michalis still be the chest-getting errand boy. Yeah, I don't really want to use him for the rest of this chapter. And oh, it looks like Merrick and Elwyn have a conversation. I do like the fact that you get to tell which characters have to talk to who by having a yellow square over the person they can talk to. I think Awakening retained that, which is pretty cool. This, I believe, is the only optional conversation. Oh, well, actually, there was the Michalis one. Okay, this and the Michalis one are the only conversations in this chapter. Anyway, apparently this is actually Elrond's first battle. Yeah, chronologically these ones take place between Shadow Dragon and this game. So, anyway. My eternal rival. That actually played out almost exactly word for word like a scene from, something with someone else who was an eternal rival or someone. Anyway. Again, Michalis is going to be the errand boy here. It looks like there's not going to be that much to say here. So, while I'm on the subject of Michalis... Okay, we get a dragon pike here. So, in case you want Michalis to really overkill those dragons, and those wyverns damn well deserve it, so I'd recommend going to town on them with that thing. Yeah, now that there are no dragons left, that thing's kind of pointless. But, while they still were dragons, yeah, it's pretty useful. So, anyway... Oh, not quite level up. Anyway, what I was going to say about Michalis. Now, I think the reason why Michalis appears in this chapter with Fina is a bit of an in-joke for people who played the original Dark Dragon and Sword of Light. You see, in that game, Michalis was actually a palette swap of Narbal. Yeah, for some weird reason. For anyone else who wants some random trivia, Bantu was a palette swap of Garnef. Yeah, really. I mean, I always knew Bantu's growth rates were evil, but seriously. On the other palette swap front, often they were too lazy even to just palette swap, because a lot of generic bosses use the exact same portrait. Bord and Cord use the exact same portrait, Dolph and Massillon use the exact same portrait, and I believe Sedgar and Thomas use the exact same portrait too. So yeah, there was an awful lot of portrait reusing. But I still think it's amusing the characters who had palette swaps that were enemies. So yeah, for some reason Michalis was a palette swap of Narbal back then, which I guess is the reason that he appeared with Fina in this chapter. Just a bit of an in-joke to people who played the original, and you know, the two guys that Fina's joined with both had kind of the same portrait in that game. Interesting. So then, right, we're just gonna lure and tank these guys, and the rest of this chapter's kind of boring, so I won't really have all that much to say. This chapter's pretty easy overall, really. It's a nice breather from, oh, I wouldn't wish you had a hand axe, but anyway. It's a pretty nice breather from, that last BS chapter, which I still find incredibly annoying. But anyway... Again, it's easy, it's a nice breather. The next downloadable chapter will not quite be so easy. I don't think any of them ever approach the annoyingness of, still number one in kill. I don't think any of them ever approached the level of frustration that the beginning did, but still, I mean, you want to be careful sometimes because, yeah, I almost see that Myrmidon up there. He has a silver sword, and he's gonna double our he's gonna double our mages, and that'll probably result in them being shredded to tiny pieces, which is not good. So, yeah, if I had Merrick kill this guy, that Myrmidon would probably kill him. If Merrick killed that guy on the enemy phase, the Myrmidon would also definitely kill him. So I'm having Merrick unequip himself. Yeah, unequipping yourself could be quite a useful tactic sometimes when you really, you know, want to avoid that whole too much enemy kills will kill you syndrome, which happens a lot more than you probably think. Unfortunately, I think I'm now forced to kill this guy with Etzel. I'd prefer to get other people the experience, and I'd prefer to heal Merrick, but unfortunately this is basically all I can do, really, to open this guy up for the others to attack him. And another crit. So, I believe the boss is the only one left. So, with that done, I can basically explain any other... Oh, come on! Oh, at least Merrick's going to attack the boss at least once, so we know he's going to get over that. But you know, I hate it when I end chapters like that. It's really annoying. You know what's the worst? When a character has 99 experience points and they're level 19. I believe that happened to my Avatar in Awakening once. That was really annoying. I'm just like, I had to do one skirmish just to get him 1 experience point. That was, yeah. So anyway, here's the boss. He's quite a bit tougher than a lot of the other enemies here, and has Bolganone. Speaking of Bolganone, I guess since there's not that much else to say, I guess I can say it here. If this was the original Mystery of the Emblem, Etzel's Blizzard spell would have actually been effective against those fire dragons. Yeah, in the original game, I'll say it again, dragons all had elemental weaknesses, kind of like the Lagoons in the Tellius series. So basically, fire dragons were weak to ice magic, which was basically just Blizzard. Some things translated Shaver as Shiver, making it sound like an ice spell, but it's not. Ouch! Yeah, this guy hits pretty hard, even against your mate. Damn it, Linda, why do you have to keep missing when I need you to hit? I think Linda's cursed in this chapter for some reason. That was a 70% too. Anyway, probably more important to heal the guy who will be fighting the boss, because every bit of HP counts. Now here, you want to use Merrick's Pure Water. This is literally the only use of the Pure Water in the whole map, given that this guy is the only magic user the enemy has. So that'll help you take hits from him. You might want to pass it around to other characters who are going to be fighting the boss. Of course, you can totally rip this guy a structurally superfluous new behind with Mishalis. But, yeah, that's no fun, so... Oh, nice one! And don't miss, please don't miss. Good. I would really like a crit against this guy if I could help it. But anyway, like I was saying before, Blizzard was good against fire dragons, and fire magic like Bolganone was good against ice dragons, which actually made Bolganone a whole lot more useful than it actually was in this game. Back in the original Mystery, it was a pretty nice spell to have, because, yeah, it really did a number on those ice dragons back in chapter 13-14. Which still makes it, I still think it's kind of strange that the, Ice Clan Dark Mages all use fire magic, which, yeah, kind of weird. Unless they use it to keep the ice dragons in check. I mean, the ice dragons are basically their pets, so... yeah. Again, I'm running out of things to say here, and damn that stupid healing boss. Okay, I'm either gonna have to get a crit, or I'm gonna have to attack this guy with multiple people in one turn. Because seriously, like, I know I could just have Mishalis destroy him, but that's just no fun. I believe the throw graphic here is similar to the throw graphic back in Garnet's chapter, actually. Speaking of which, I also think this chapter has totally new graphics for, Oh, this is ridiculous! Oh, well, at least we both missed, but still. Why is Linda being so cursed in this one? 3 misses, all with chances 70% or higher. Wait a minute, has Linda equipped herself with Focus Blast? Probably not. Anyway. Oh yeah, that guy's gonna 2-hit kill Merrick, isn't he? Yeah, gotta watch out for that. Oh boy, wow, that guy's got a crit chance on Elrond, that is not good. And he does a hell of a lot of damage too. Yeah, Mirshalis really is the best solution to this guy. At one point I was considering whether Fina could do anything with the Lady Sword. Unfortunately, the Lady Sword has just as much might as this guy has defense, which means that Fina will be just hitting with her strength stat alone. And her strength stat is not that good. She's got a great growth on it, though. Actually, it's better than a lot of axe fighters. Seriously. But, now I believe I am using Fina for a cunning plan here. Yeah, at this point I was wondering whether Fina could finish the job, but, no. She only has 3 strength, so she'll be doing 3 damage. Again, the Lady Sword's might perfectly cancels out, this guy's defense. Plus, he'll incinerate her in an instant anyway, so we don't want that. Alright, Mirshalis is going to be my backup plan in case anyone here misses the boss, but we should be able to take this guy down in 1 turn. Now, even though this guy is on a throne, this is actually a route mission, so you don't need to seize the throne to win. So, the chapter will end immediately after you get rid of this guy, which is, yeah, incredibly helpful. So then, please don't miss, please don't miss. Oh, I would have loved it, but please don't miss. And he didn't miss. Phew! So, that's it. This is Wind and Thunder completed, and, well, I guess we can have success with an all-mage party. So, that's it. Chapter done. Now onto the plot. And now the throne looks all bright and happy. Maybe killing that guy instantly remove the Garneth decor? I really don't know. So, anyway, looks like we found something interesting. They were gonna hold some sort of ritual. Oh wow! They are 4 minions of a big bad who is now dead. I wonder what that ritual could have been. Oh, it was forbidden magic. Well, I think we can already tell what this is. Elrond using some Phoenix Wright style deduction here. Oh, yep. I called it. I so called it. Now, this actually isn't the full explanation as for why Garneth is still around back in the main story, because the explanation for that was that Garneth's soul was still in the Dark Sphere. But yeah, the soul is actually, still stuck in the Dark Sphere at this point. So the Garneth you see throughout most of the game is basically Ghost Garneth. But I guess this explains why Garneth still looked like he had his physical body back when you actually fought him. Because I guess they actually did resurrect his body, and they must have been able to put his soul back in the body just in time for you to fight him. Probably explains why, he looks corporeal the time you actually fight him. But anyway, oh, Elrond is still being all angst. Anyway. It might be because of someone related to Prince Marth, if you know what I mean. Yeah, according to a conversation with Ellis and Shadow Dragon, Merrick was actually kind of weak as a child. He was kind of sick all the time. So, he sort of kind of felt like he had to get stronger. But I mean, it's not like he needs to. He's a really good mage. I mean, he's easily one of the best mages in the game. Linda is too, pretty much. And yes, fighting for your friends, blah blah blah, power of friendship, blah 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 blah. What else is new? Elrond still doesn't buy it. I find Elrond kind of weird because even throughout all 3 of his support conversations with my unit, he's still a complete dick. It's not until the very ending of the game that he actually suddenly spontaneously decides, I think friendship is awesome! Completely out of nowhere. It's weird. Anyway, I don't even think this guy has support with Merrick, although I could be wrong. So anyway, he's going off to check out. Oh yes, let's split up and search the ancient ruins that are inhabited by dragons and 4 minions of the main villain. This totally is going to end well. Oh, that music can only mean one thing. Uh-oh, he's gonna give the friendship sucks speech. Why does every villain have to do that? Yeah. Uh-oh, this is bad. This is very bad. You know, I'd say don't listen to him, Elrond, but unfortunately, after what happens in the main story, this was kind of a foregone conclusion. Yeah, Elrond is pretty much a direct parallel of Garneth in a lot of ways. He very nearly went the way of Garneth. Again, Garneth, killed someone he was killed another student he was jealous of, and completely pissed off his teacher. Yeah, Elrond very nearly did that. And fortunately, though, he made the right choice in the end. Now, here, this map actually ends because there are no rankings or anything. So, right, hope you enjoyed that chapter, and I'll see you again next time for probably the most interesting downloadable chapter in the game, the one where we get to play as the bad guys.